All right, welcome back to another After Dark, everyone. Hope you all are having a good night so far. I hope you guys had a wonderful day. Still hot as hell out here, but nothing else is new. But it's nighttime now, so it's going to start cooling off. Thank the Lord. Anyways, had a suggestion here. I slept on another one of the greats, but it's going to keep happening because there's so many great players to appreciate. And this one's Clyde Drexler. So I had a couple of people point out, hey, have you made a video on have you like reacted to anything about Drexler yet? And I'm like, no. And it's crazy to me because if it wasn't for a guy named Michael Jordan, Clyde Drexler would be somebody we consider, one of the greatest of all time. And yes, he still is. But I don't know anybody who has him on their top 10 list. And I think he would have been if it wasn't for MJ. But, just overshadowing him. But anyways, this is a video from one of my favorite channels, as you all know, BTM Basketball Time Machine. So we're going to check out what Sean has to say about Clyde Drexler. This one's called NBA Legends Explain Why Clyde Drexler Was a Monster. So as always, I'm going to link the original video down below in the description. I highly suggest you guys check out BTM. Fantastic channel. I call him the godfather of basketball YouTube content. And yeah, without further ado, please leave this video a like. It helps me a ton, more than you can imagine. And YouTube's funny that way. Let's do this.
Mark Bryant on an inbound play. Who's going to break out? It's Drexler. Turns around, puts it up.
Oh, jeez. Right off the glass. Boom.
Hey guys, this is Dominique Wilkins.
What up, Nick?
Hey, this is Sean Kemp.
This is Gary Payton.
Hey, this is Pau Gasol.
NBA fans, what's up? This is Vince Carter here.
Hey, what's up? This is Matt Barnes. If you're an old school NBA fan like I am, make sure you check out the Basketball Time Machine with my man Sean David.
I wonder how he got those guys to say that. It's pretty cool.
Hey guys, what's good? Welcome back to the Basketball Time Machine. My name is Sean David.
What up, Sean?
Thanks for tuning in. Let's talk some old school NBA basketball.
Yes, please.
In today's episode, I want to take a look at what NBA legends have to say about Clyde the Glide Drexler, probably one of the most underrated players of all time. But before we dive into that, let me ask you guys for a small favor. Check out the following clip about the sponsor of today's video. Today's episode is brought to you by Magic Spoon Grain-Free Cereal. Since I am a kid of the 1980s.
Cool. I don't remember him getting sponsors. Well done, sir. All right, Magic Spoon is the company, y'all. All right.
Grain-free, soy-free, and of course, low carb. My favorite flavor is peanut butter, but you can also...
Oh, man. I can never imagine. My friends have asked me, like, what would it be like to do a sponsor? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how you feel about that. Unless it's something I used.
And the first player's opinion that we're going to take a look at is from Greg Anthony. Obviously, he played for the New York Knicks and is now a TV analyst.
Greg Anthony.
Let's take a look.
Yeah.
Clyde was incredible. You just weren't used to seeing guys with that size have that kind of quickness and handle back then. It's commonplace today, but back then that was not the norm. And boy, his comfort with being 6'7" and being able to handle the ball and shoot it and play make and all those things, it was a sight to see.
A facial, sir.
Yeah, back in the 80s, we had three guys, at least in my opinion. We had Dominique, we had Clyde Drexler, and we had Michael Jordan. They all looked similar, and we had no idea. My money was always on MJ, but I was watching the other two very close, big fans of each. We didn't know who was going to come out and be the big dog. And, we had no idea MJ was going to come out and win 6 championships and become the basketball god. They were all on equal playing fields, in my opinion, in the 80s. They were all very exciting, and they all had similar play styles.
Up by Clyde Drexler.
And the next player's opinion that we're going to take a look at is from Ray Allen, who had his battles with Clyde the Glide Drexler. Let's check it out.
I remember being in the 8th, 9th, 10th grade watching Clyde Drexler play, sitting on my couch, and really starting to have an attraction for the game of basketball. Even though I was outside playing it, you know, maybe 20 minutes earlier, I would come in, watch the game for a little bit, and go back out and play again. I could never sit in front of TV and watch it.
Oh, yeah.
But then when they started saying Clyde Drexler and show when he dunked the ball or anything
Good
Brady
Lord.
did, I was attracted to the TV and made me want to sit there and watch it. When he almost jumped on the free throw line, I think he was playing the Lakers. And, you know, both his feet off in the air, that was his signature, you know, dunk. One hand came down the lane. He floated.
Yeah, that was a dunk contest dunk in the game. It was pretty phenomenal.
When Clyde dunked, Clyde came up with both his legs. I used to always stick my legs up. I used to always say that, you know, when I did that, I was Clyde Drexler.
And the Bucks with numbers. Brandon up top. Ray Allen, the slam. Gorgeous alley-oop.
You know, the thing that made Clyde so special was, A, his athleticism was off the charts. And, you know, I remember watching him in college when they had the great team Phi Slamma Jamma. And you.
Sorry, real quick. Back in the 80s and the 90s, we used to say, and it was probably because of Jordan and Drexler, we used to tell each other, if you kick your feet up like that, your legs up, you're going to get more hang time. I don't know if it's really true physics-wise, but the players that we saw, it was working. But I think that's also because they had, you know, Clyde Glide and Air Jordan. They had freakish hang time.
You know, he came into the NBA dunking, but when you go back and you look at some of his college dunks, you're like, whoa.
First time I'm on the break with Clyde Drexler. He used to dribble with his head down, and I'm running the lane real hard. I didn't realize he saw me, and he threw a nice hard pass, and my hands couldn't get up quick enough and hit me in the head. I was like, oh. He was like, going back down the court. You know, Clyde was the guy, didn't say too much on the basketball court. He just led by example, and he whispered to me, stay ready, I see you. You don't think I see you, I see you. So from that day on, when I ran, I kept my eyes on Clyde Drexler all the time.
Clyde the Glide.
Yeah, he did do that. He dribbled looking down. But, yeah, he still had that court awareness. So he was like 3/4 looking down. And we used to think he's looking at the dribble. I don't think he was. I really don't see his eyes on the ball itself. For some reason, I think he's looking at feet. He's looking at legs. I can't tell you exactly what he's thinking, but it worked for him, man.
The two best in the game, but I'm not getting into a war of words with Mike.
Clyde wasn't a threat.
Smart man.
You know, I'm not saying he wasn't a threat, but me being compared to him, I
took offense to that.
And not at one point can I remember during Clyde's career, he was ever pointing to about him. It's about Clyde Drexler. Yes, he wanted to eventually win a championship and went to Houston, was a part of that. But he always carried himself in a professional manner, meaning the team was first. So I understand his comments. Even when in the 92 finals, and I would happen to be coming out of college, it was a draft combine in Chicago. I was at, game 1 or game 2. I think it was game 1 when Michael Jordan had the 6 3-pointers. Even at that time when the media was trying to pit Michael against Clyde, Clyde kind of stayed out of the fray because he understood that in order for Portland to win, it wasn't about he and Michael Jordan going up again. It was about the Trailblazers trying to do what they needed to do to beat the Bulls.
That's smart. Yeah, never go one-on-one versus Jordan. It's not going to work for you. Yeah, the team needed to beat the Bulls. The team needed to beat Jordan. That was the only way it ever works. I don't like the bad boy Pistons, but they had the right idea. They just did it in a very dirty way. But the idea was shut him down. But the problem is every team tried to shut MJ down. It didn't work very often.
Lose that image in your head of Clyde taking off from the free throw line over Andre Turner of Memphis State and just dunking that thing. You're like, oh my God, did he jump from the 3-point line? Is someone really that athletic? And then watching Clyde in his early days in Portland, you were like, Clyde was must-see TV.
Loved the game of basketball.
Yeah, he was.
And was very unselfish. And Clyde doesn't get enough credit for his unselfishness. He could have chucked the ball up a lot, and he didn't. He gave the ball to his teammates. He trusted his teammates. He allowed Terry Porter to actually be a point guard, and I thought enhanced Terry Porter's name and his ability to be seen. But Clyde could have just dominated that team at that particular point in time. Like, say, Michael Jordan was dominating the Bulls statistically, like Dominique was dominating Atlanta. Clyde Drexler could have done the same thing, but he decided not to. And it made him an all-around player and a great teammate.
That's my memory.
And, you know, yeah, he doesn't get enough credit because almost every single year there with Portland, he was right there either in the finals or right there at the door of the finals. He just, you know, there was better competition out there. So he wasn't the best, but he was always one of the best. And his team was great too. You know, it was unfortunate he didn't win until later on with the Rockets. But I remember prime Clyde, man. Prime Clyde was always there. He was always there. I'm still surprised to this day he didn't win a championship with Portland.
Clyde Drexler. I mean, he jumped over my head and
time we was playing you in Portland, I said, I'm going to get Clyde stuff because I know he's going to do that spin with his head down and do that finger roll. Man, I dang near put my arm out of socket trying to swing at it. And the ball just said, shoot, right over my face. Like, how in the heck did he see me? He's like, he spent just a little bit more to get it over me. I was like, come on, man, I'm going to get it one time.
Can definitely talk about the 92 finals. Have a chance to play with a guy that, you know, I idolized young and had a chance to play against Clyde in the finals. And I must say, I was very afraid going into that series because it was that moment really where...
Listen to this. He's got so much bass in his voice that he's making the video like crackle. The audio is crackling because of his massive bass. I don't know what kind of subwoofer he installed in his throat, man, but Scotty's voice is... There's no one like it.
Very afraid going into that series because it was that moment really where... Clyde was probably one of my biggest challenges for as a small forward in the game, a guy that played a lot like me, a lot of speed, athleticism, can handle the ball, make plays. So it was a big challenge for me to be able to have to run up against, you know, a guy like Clyde. It was a lot of fun, a lot of great memories that I take from playing against that Portland team, especially against Clyde.
The NBA's had plenty of great nicknames over its history. I don't know that any one of them fits a player better than Clyde the Glide.
Yeah.
Because there was such an athletic grace about him.
That and okay, all three of them did. Human highlight film was great and Air Jordan was perfect. But Clyde the Glide you know, there's a flow to that. Clyde the Glide.
He was just smooth, man. Clyde played the game hard and efficient, but he was so cool the way he played and so smooth that he made the game seem effortless. And when you watch him, man, everything was just done with ease, but he was a great player. He was a lethal scorer. And at the time, the only Achilles heel Clyde Drexler had that he played in the same era as Michael Jordan.
Yep.
Because during that era, if it wasn't for Michael Jordan, Clyde Drexler would have been known as the best two-guard in the East or Western Conference, hands down.
100%.
Well, how did he stack up?
He would have been the best two-guard of his era. Hands down. Hands down.
In that area, when you're playing against him, in terms of how you're scouting him, where he is on the whiteboard before the game.
John, I remember talking to John Lucas one time, and Lucas told me that, you know, we was talking about Clyde Drexler and that he's really right-hand dominant. And John Lucas said, but it doesn't matter. If you're so good and everyone know you going that way and they still can't stop it, what does that say about him? And more importantly, what does it say about you? Clyde Drexler was just one of those guys to where when he made up his mind where he wanted to go and what he wanted to do, that was no stopping him. First, he was a great athlete. Second, he played the game hard. And then the way they played in Portland, out in transition with that crowd, with him, Jerome Kersey, and Terry Porter, man, it was must-see TV.
He's known for his acrobatic drives to the basket, his high-flying dunks and all. And I just
He's a good shooter, too.
Him hitting jump shots in the NBA Finals. And I remember going into the Finals saying, okay, I'm going to make him shoot jump shots. And that's the weak part of his game. And he kept hitting jump shots. And I kept thinking, he can't be doing this to me right now in the NBA Finals.
So that was a lot of his role with the Rockets. Because not all of his athleticism, he still had quite a bit of it, but a lot of that had faded by then. But that jumper, man, he was ice.
It's Clyde Drexler, in my opinion. What I think I mentioned it a couple of times on my show already, Back in the days when Jordan was playing, many other players got kind of overshadowed, and Clyde Drexler, to me, falls in that category. I'm pretty sure if it wasn't for Jordan, Clyde Drexler probably would have been an even bigger NBA superstar.
100%.
It also didn't help that he played for the Portland Trailblazers, even though they had a great and sensational team. Obviously, they're not such a big market like, for example, the Los Angeles Lakers and the New York Knicks. But still, Clyde Drexler definitely is one of the greatest players of all time, one of the most underrated superstars of all time, and definitely one of the faces of the 1990s. All right, you guys, that was it for today's episode. Don't forget to check out magicspoon.com/Sean David and get your cereals today.
Yep.
See you next time on the Basketball Time.
Yep, get my man Sean paid. I only disagree with one thing that he said. That was the big market team. And the only reason I say that is because, you know, the Bulls were not a big market team when Jordan went there. Nobody was going to those games, but they became a big market team because of the impact Jordan made. But I agree with everything else Sean said, because 100% he got overshadowed by Michael Jordan. There's no doubt. There's no question. If it wasn't for Michael Jordan, yeah, he would be, like, Clyde would be known as the best two guard of that era from like 1983 to what, 2000 pretty much. 2000, whatever, at least the mid 90s. He would have been known as that dude. But instead it was Michael Jordan because MJ was stacking rings. So, but if Jordan never would have gotten over the hump and started winning championships, and, let's say Jordan never won any championships and then Clyde got his, yeah, history would have been very different. We would have been looking at Clyde as that guy. So, yeah, I'll never belittle Clyde Drexler. I'll never say a negative thing about him. He's a dude that he earned everything he got. So, yeah, I have nothing but negative to say about him. It's just unfortunate that time doesn't remember. Time just doesn't remember some of these people because somebody else overshadows them. I'm sure there's a lot of people in the 80s that feel this way because Bird and Magic got all the attention. And then in the 90s, because it was all Jordan. Hell, I'll list one right now. Hakeem Olajuwon. He doesn't get enough respect. Want to know why? Jordan won 6 rings in the 90s. But who won 2? 2 of those championships went to Hakeem Olajuwon and the Houston Rockets. I believe he deserves more respect too. But that's just how we do it. So people disrespect Philly back in the Bird and Magic era too. They were there. Moses Malone doesn't get enough credit because we're too busy talking about Bird and Magic. Anyways, I'm going off on a tangent here. Last example will be that Detroit Pistons team in, 2004, I believe, when they won the championship. Why? Because 2000s, all we think about is Kobe Bryant and Tim Duncan. We think about, and Shaq. We think about the Lakers and the Spurs. We hardly even remember the Boston Celtics during that era. Anyways, everybody, I'm going to head out here. Let me know what you think about Clyde Drexler. And yeah, push some other names my way. There's so many, I know. There's so many I already have on a list to cover, but I'm sure there's another like 100 players that I should definitely introduce to this channel. So, all right, everyone, have a wonderful night. Be good to your people. Tell your loved ones you love them, and try and stay cool out there. All right, I'll do the same. Peace out. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this. Hit that bell if you want to be notified on the next one. And yeah, have a wonderful day, everyone. Carpe diem.